of breast cancer on both sides of my family, and I was 32 and I knew I was getting to an age where I was probably more at risk, so I wanted to find out whether I had the genetic gene. So I contacted the doctor, told them about my family history. They referred me to, I think, the people who do all the genetic testing, but in the meantime they'd referred me for a mammogram because I was at an age where I could have a mammogram. At this point I didn't have any reason to think that I had breast cancer. I didn't have any lumps, there wasn't any indications that I had it. Then I went for the mammogram and had that done, and they said you'll probably get a letter within a couple of weeks. It's nothing to worry about, it's just a procedure. So I did get the letter, but again I didn't think anything of it. But then a few days later I'd got a lump appeared on my left breast, but it was only very tiny, just like a little cyst or something. But I thought because they'd squashed my boob in these plates, I thought they'd probably burst a blood vessel or something. So I still didn't sort of think anything of it. I told them about the little lump, so they then wanted to do a biopsy. And then that's when 2 weeks later I was on the way to the hospital, and I remember saying to my husband, I was like, whatever happens, I'm definitely going to make that decision. If, I definitely want to have the double mastectomy and reconstruction. I was so, I knew that's what I wanted to do if I needed to. My mum always said to me, she said, because my mum had it when I was 21, she said, if you see a Macmillan nurse, she said, it's an indication that, something's not right. And the doctor came in, and then the next thing I saw the Macmillan nurse, and I was like, oh, okay, just hold it together. And I was like, just wait until see what the doctor says. And then the next thing the doctor sat down, and he said I had triple negative breast cancer. So he'd told me that I had 2 tumours in total. They were only small, but they had a lot of malignant cells in, but it was triple negative breast cancer, which is really aggressive. I think I was quite strong up until that point, but then it's when you hear those words, you can hear the words, but you don't actually feel present. It's like all of a sudden you go into a haze, and you can see the doctor's mouth moving, you can hear him just saying everything is going to happen. And I just burst into tears because I just felt like I'd been kicked in the stomach. It was just like a big blow. I was like, wow. Because I think I didn't expect it to be the diagnosis that I actually got. So 2 weeks after that, I they sent me for an MRI scan, and the MRI scans showed up 7 tumours, and they all had malignant cells in them, so they were only small. So I think I probably saved my own life really, because a few months down the line it might have been a whole different story, because they knew I wanted to have more children, and because chemotherapy can make you infertile, I went for IVF for 2 weeks, so they had to postpone my chemotherapy treatment. They said I had a 1% chance of the IVF actually working. So at this point I felt like I was on a bit of a roller coaster, because I'd just been hit with the diagnosis of breast cancer, to then have a little bit of hope that I was going to then go on to be able to have a child after it was all over, to then be hit with the fact that I only had a 1% chance of conceiving another child. I thought, right, I can either give up now, or I can just go ahead. I've got nothing to lose. I've just been diagnosed with breast cancer. If I do, I'm always going to be wondering what if. One thing I sort of lived by through my diagnosis is hope, because at this point, before I'd even started chemotherapy, that was my own, I only had hope, because they said with triple negative breast cancer, chemotherapy treatment is my only lifeline. So that is what works, that's more effective with the cancer that I had. If that didn't work, there wasn't any other options. I decided to write a book. I had a light bulb moment, and I don't know why I decided to write a book. I do now, but at the time I didn't ever think I would want to write a book. So when I had been diagnosed, I come home and then I went for a run. I'd started running a few months before, and I thought, I'm going to go for a run. I just needed some time on my own, and just Lily was at school, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to go for a run. So while I was on the run, I was running thinking, right, okay, how can I make this a positive part of my life now? And this is before I'd even started my treatment and having no idea whether I was going to survive or not. And I thought, well, when I was running, I was like, God, I'm running now and I've got breast cancer. I'm a runner with breast cancer, which like yesterday I was just a runner. And then I got back from the run and I said to my husband, I was like, I'm going to write a book. And he was like, okay. I think he thought I was a bit mad. I think he thought I was still sort of shocked by the whole what had happened. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book and share my journey with everybody so I can inspire other women and help them. What I found when I got my diagnosis, there was lots of information that I didn't know, and they don't give you a handbook. They don't actually physically give you information, really important information that could help you so much during, because you're just given the diagnosis and then it's like, right, okay, this is what you've got, cancer, and the next so many months are going to be loads of hospital appointments, and this is your treatment plan, this is what's going to happen. But there's so much in between that and so much surrounding that you don't get sort of step-by-step instructions for. So that's why that's what I wanted to create, like a go-to book for women. So I started on my treatment plan, and at the same time I started putting all the plans into action for my book. And then so I did 5 months of chemotherapy treatment, and because I wanted to do the best by myself and I wanted to give myself the best chance, I tried a new drug. Basically I was a guinea pig, but I didn't mind, and I do believe by having that extra drug it has helped towards me still being here today. And by the time I finished my chemotherapy, they couldn't find any tumours. So I had my double mastectomy and reconstruction, and then decided once I'd gone through all my treatments and I come out the other side, that I was going to sort of have a new identity really. So I suppose that's when I changed how I look to, I love vintage, so I went into wearing vintage dresses, having my hair in vintage styles. I love regular choice shoes. I wasn't a confident person when I was younger. I was quite shy. So I was never one of those people that would wear anything that would, make me stand out. Although going through cancer, there was some really horrible times. It's made me come out the other side stronger, and I feel like I'm a better person for it. I don't think it's changed my heart, but I do feel it's made me, a lot more confident than what I was before. Yeah.
You found yourself.
And I feel like I've come out. I feel like I'm only just living my life, and I think I'm more wise now because I'm older. But I do feel that my life is only just beginning. So my treatment finished, I was like, things have got to change. I've got to reduce the stress and the pressure. And one thing about being in education was there was a lot more paperwork than actually the practical side. So I found that my love for what I originally was going in to do, it was going because it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So that's when Lily has evolved, and in 2016 I decided, after I'd gone through treatment, I was like, what I've got to lose? I'm here, I'm alive. So I thought, yeah, I'll set up my own private training school. I didn't think about it, I just did it. I was like, I'm going to do this, and it happened. And then I ran a few courses, and then I found I was getting some health issues. So then I contacted my Macmillan nurse, and they found tumours on my spine. So with triple negative breast cancer, there's a high risk of secondary cancer. And I had I think it was about 3 tumours on my spine. I was going to have a CT scan done, and they asked if they could do a pregnancy test. And I just was saying, oh yeah, you can do one, but I know I'm not pregnant. I was like, I'm infertile. She eventually come back in with another doctor, and she said, I don't know how to tell you this. She went, but you're pregnant. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh, okay. She went, we've done 3 pregnancy tests and you're definitely pregnant. So I was like, okay. I was quiet. I was just like looking at it as if, because I was on my own as well, because my husband, he's a mountaineer, so he takes people up mountains. So he was at Everest Base Camp at the time. So he wasn't there, and then my friend was meeting me in the afternoon because I was having to go over to the Christie for another test that day. So I was like, right, okay. I was like, okay. And then from there, I just went to see my Macmillan nurse, and I was in a state of panic. I was like, I can't have my test because I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do. And she was like, it's okay, it's fine. So then I had to phone my friend, and I was like, we can't go to the appointment this afternoon because, are you sitting down? I was like, I'm pregnant. So she was shocked but over the moon. And then we ended up going to the Trafford Centre. I think I have mixed emotions. So when they told me, I was shocked. Then I was a little bit excited. But then I think the thing that was stopping me from feeling completely excited was the fact that I still didn't know what the tumours, whether the tumours were benign on my spine. The worst thing would have been for me to have been told I was pregnant, then to find out later on down the line that I did have secondary cancer. But then I thought, would life be so cruel to then give me, this miracle baby, and then obviously then to find out I had secondary cancer. So again, I had to just live in hope. Everything I ever did through the whole of my journey was just hope all the time, because that's the only thing that I could do. So when they give me the news that the tumours were benign, I was just like, oh my God. I think I felt like I was given life again, I think, because I'd been, I think because there was women that had actually been on the same journey as me, and they'd actually been diagnosed with one lady in particular. She had triple negative breast cancer like me, who I knew, who I was in contact with, who we used to chat with each other during our treatment. And there was another young girl that I didn't know. They all got secondary cancer and they're not with us today. So, wow. And there's another lady that I knew in the US, but she had a different cancer to me. But again, they've all had secondary cancer. So for me, I suppose I feel like I have been given a second chance at life, and I've always questioned why I have and they haven't. And I think you can drive yourself crazy trying to get the answer to that, because there isn't an answer. But for me, I just feel because they didn't, I need to live now and help other women and inspire other women. I was over the moon. I started to enjoy a pregnancy. I started to get excited about it. Our little Monty Pickles. And he was born in June 2017. So he was our first miracle baby. And then we found out in 2017 that I was pregnant again with my second miracle baby, which is this gorgeous little poppy here, who was born in 2018. So not only did I get one, I actually got two miracle babies. I believe all my children are like my guardian angels. They've all been here. Lily was here to get me through my breast cancer. She was 4 at the time. Just looked at her and I thought, it's not an option for her to not have a mummy. So I used her as my strength. But Lily, thankfully Lily only remembers it as a positive thing, because that's what I wanted. She never come to hospital appointments. I still always tried to smile, and we sort of joked around. And at the time Frozen was out, so she loved Frozen. And we used to always sing the Frozen songs. And one day she was in the bath, so I changed the lyrics to I don't care if I've got no hair. And I used to rip my wig off. And she giggled. I didn't think she'd find it as funny as she did, but I had to do it about 4 times because she found it that funny, and she proper giggled. And for me, it was like, do you know what? This is what it's all about. And she always remembers that. So when you ask her, that'll be the thing that she remembers most about my whole breast cancer journey. I believe that when women go through breast cancer, it's like a butterfly effect. So, oh, thank you. Oh, that's lovely, thank you. More confident, but also you have this strength that you didn't have before. Most, if not all, women that I've met, even the women that are not here today, they've all turned into these beautiful butterflies, and they've all done amazing things in adversity. They've gone on to help other people. in different ways, and that's what I wanted to do. So after I'd had Monty and Poppy, I'd set up my own training school. I put that on hold because I knew I needed to be at home and just focus on my children, and we were in a position where I could do that, and it's the best thing I ever did. I've been able to pour everything into them and I've loved it, and I wouldn't have wished it any differently. But now it's about me and me working on myself again and building, because I lost my confidence a bit, because I think you do as a mum, you know, and before I had my children, I'd launched my book, I'd worked on my book, going through my diagnosis, I had my, I was obviously in education, then I'd set up Lily's, so I'd gone from all of that to being a stay-at-home mummy. And so now I turn 40 in January, it's a year for me, it's a me year, and when I first said that, I felt really selfish because I was just focusing on me, and I'm a selfless person, so I feel I get more out of helping others or doing things for other people. But I was like, no, I need to work on my self-development and my confidence, and pushing myself back out there to promote my book, to bring Lily's back to life, because everything's been to sleep. So now it's time for me to wake everything up and just bring everything back to life. And I can do that more confidently now because I've had 3 children. I've experienced being a mummy. I'm obviously 40, so I'm more wise now.